So a lot of things to discuss, 4 people on the line, so we can start talk about what is the best way to travel, in a group or solo. And what I would like to tell you right from the beginning is that you shouldn't listen anyone, because everyone got some priorities, and in every one of the situations we're gonna have some pros and cons, and I'm gonna discuss everything here. But how to travel has to be only your decision. Don't let anyone to tell you what is the best for you. Don't listen anyone, don't listen me either. The best way will be to make some experiments, to start with maybe some short trips, day trips, or a weekend trips with some people, to see how it's going, because you might be very good friend with someone, but when you start traveling, especially on the long trips, the things are changed usually, because you basically start to living like a real couple. I don't mean everything, but because you have to share so many hours together, the things became a little bit different. That's why it's very important to know the person in advance. And I'm gonna tell you all the pros and cons of each one of the options to travel in a group or solo. But you have to have the basic idea from the beginning. Richard, beer, okay. You have the usual hour, okay. I will probably, I need to start these streams maybe a little bit earlier because of you, Richard, to have a little bit more time. But 1 hour is more than enough. So what we're gonna discuss tonight is what is the best way to travel, solo or in a group. I have done all possible options. I travel solo, I travel with another one person, 3 people, 4 people, I travel in big groups. I tried all the options, and each one of the options got some pros and cons, as I already said. And you have to find the best that is suited to your needs. And the best is different for everyone, definitely. But yeah, let's start now with the pros and cons of each one of the options. I'm gonna start with the group riding first. Number one, it is good to be part of large group. We're humans and we want to have this communication with another person, and it's always good to be part of large group in terms of communication, preparation, to share the same experience, or even to share some family stories or whatever. But it is good to be part of a group. This is like a number one pro for group riding. Number two, the group will give you some confidence and safety, especially if you're a new rider. This is absolutely true. If you're a new rider and if you're part of the group, you will feel much better. You will feel more comfortable, because there will be some people that already traveled and they can give you some good advice and also help you with everything that it's still new for you. This is definitely a pro. If you don't know how to do the things, or how to travel, or how to organize everything, it is better to be in a group, no doubt about it. This is the second pro. The third is the personal and bike safety. Yes, if you travel in a group, you will have more safety, personal safety and bike safety. For example, every time when you need to leave your motorcycle for a while, you have someone to look over it. So if you need to stop here in front of the hotel and go and check for free rooms, you don't need to worry about your motorcycle, because someone from the group will take care about it. It is the same if you have some kind of problems on the road with another person or people. When you are a large group, it's more likely that someone will help you. In terms of your personal safety and bike safety, yes, it is better to be in a group, no doubt about it. And number four, it's a possibility to learn a lot. As I already said, if you're a new rider, just started traveling now, if you're part of a group, you're gonna learn a lot of useful things. uh, which you're not going to learn if you're alone. You will learn it, but probably the hard way, as I did it, or as many people did it. But if you're part from a large group, they're going to teach you how to do the things. Not every lesson will be right or correct, but at least you can have some kind of information and decide it what is good and what is not good for you, if you understand what I mean. Number 5 from the pros is that you're gonna have some discounts, and you're gonna have definitely a good fun. Discounts, I mean that just because you're a large group, on every place that you go, let's say attractions or hotels or restaurants, because you're too many people, they will always make some kind of discount for you. It is one story to rent one room, but it's a different story to rent 10 rooms. The owner of the hotel could always make you some discounts. It is the same if you order a big meals or big whatever. You can get some discounts just because you're a large group. And another pro is that you're gonna have a great fun, because if you travel alone, like I do it all the time, when you finish the ride, you can go to your hotel, but you're alone and you have nothing to do. But if you're a few people or a large group, you can go to a local pub, bar, restaurant, whatever, and have a great fun, having some beers and talks, and it is usually a great fun. I've been part of this of groups many times, and I really enjoy these moments. So this is again one of the benefits of riding in the group. Also, you're gonna have easy logistics, because someone will do it for you. So this coin always got two sides, but I'm gonna tell you the negative sides of that a little bit later. But when I said that easy logistic, because someone will do it for you. You don't need to worry about location, you don't need to worry about navigation, you don't need to worry about the next hotel or the next turn or where we have to go, because someone will already do it for you, unless you're the leader and you have to organize everything and people to follow you. But if you're part of the group and someone else is the leader, then you don't need to worry about anything. Just ride your motorcycle and follow the rest of the groups, if you understand what I mean. Let's see now what are the cons of riding in the group. Let me summarize it once again, because my thoughts are not very clear today. They go like a mishmash. I was riding all day. I'm a bit tired now. But anyway, I'm gonna focus after a while. Hello, Graham. Nice to see you again. So let me summarize once again the pros of riding in the group. It is good to be part of a large group. Number 1, the group will give you some confidence and safety. Number 2, number 3, personal and bike safety, definitely better. Number 4, possibility to learn a lot. Number 5, discounts and fun. And number 6, easy logistics. So let's now see what will be the cons if you travel in the group. Number 1 will be timing. And timing has many different variations. The first will be to set exactly the dates of your traveling. If you're part of big group, let's say 3, 4, 5 people, that is mean that each and every one of you need to have exact free time in the exact dates to travel together. If you decided to travel, for example, on the 15th of May until 30th of May, everyone should have the same free time, which will be almost impossible in most of the cases, because unless you work in one company and have the same holiday at the same time. So this will be the first obstacle that you're gonna have, how you're gonna set your timing and how you're gonna set your free time, your travel free time with the whole group. Or the second will be that the second part of the timing is going to be that if you travel in the group, you will travel much slower. Even if you ride fast, there will be always someone in the group that will slow you down. And it doesn't mean that it will or he will slow you down because he does not ride fast. No, it's because when you have many people in the group and you decided, okay, today early morning we're gonna start at 7 o'clock. So 6 o'clock everyone should be already awake, have breakfast, prepare the motorcycles, and 7 o'clock start. But what will happen, and what usually happens, is that one person will wake up at 6, the second will wake up at 6:30, the third person will be still in the bed at 7 o'clock, then one person will say, I want to go to the toilet, the second want to have coffee, the third want to have breakfast, the fourth want to call home, the fifth is in the toilet, and then instead of 7 o'clock, you're gonna start at 9 o'clock. And this is happening over and over and over again. I've been part of groups, and it is always the same. You cannot just organize all the people to start at the same time, especially if you're a large group. So timing is definitely different if you travel in a large group. So if you have some very limited time and you want to use it properly, large group is definitely not for you. The con number 2 is confrontations. It doesn't matter how good person you are or how good are the rest of the riders in the group, there will be some confrontations always. They can start with something very simple. You ride too fast, or you're too slow, you eat too slow, or you smoke too much, but the confrontations are just impossible to avoid. There will be some problems between the people. Definitely, I can guarantee that. And usually there will be always someone with someone that is more arrogant than the rest of the riders, and all of this is going to create this not so nice atmosphere between all of the riders. Also, you'll have problems because of the different bikes that you might have, or different budgets that you might have. For example, if you have 2 people with 1000cc bikes and 2 people with 600cc bikes, you cannot really travel together, because the bikes that are powerful need to weigh the bikes that are not powerful. And it will be the same if you have different budgets. So you travel in the group, but if 2 of the members of the group decided to stop and have lunch in expensive restaurant, but 2 of the guys did not have the same budget to eat in that restaurant, how are you going to manage all of this? This will again create some kind of small problem that could be avoided once and maybe twice, but day after day all of this will accumulate and the problems will start. Also, when you start traveling with this group, some people prefer to travel like 1 hour and make stops. Another will want to ride 2 hours and then make stops. You have to be very strict right in the beginning. Actually, I've seen one group that are working really well together. These are guys from North Macedonia that I met last year, but they were very, very strict. They have one leader and everyone listened to the leader. Whatever leader said, everyone obeyed the rules and follow his regulations without any discussions, without any doubts. But this is usually very, very difficult to manage if you don't know each other, or if you don't know each other that well. That's why I said, if you decided to travel with someone, make sure that you know this person very well. And if you're in a large group, 3, 4, 5 or 8 people, it's impossible to know everyone, and then you're gonna have a lot of problems. Con number 3 is that you're gonna have dangerous riding and imitations. This is a true fact. There will be always someone in the group that will think, or he might be even a better rider, but this is not going to be a good example to the rest of the riders, because he will travel fast, he will cut corners, he will make some kind of show, or will like to show to the rest of the riders how good he is, and this could lead to some really dangerous imitations from some not so skilled riders on the rear side. And I've seen this many times as well. When when the leader, for example, is a very aggressive rider, the whole group need to follow the leader. When the leader is not so, when the leader is more calm rider, then the fast riders or the riders who consider themselves skilled riders will push the leader and will always try to show to the rest of the riders, especially to the newbies, how you have to ride. This is just one of the examples that I've seen so many times. It is just impossible to have even two people to ride together, and one of these people will always try to be better than another. This is how we, I don't know how to explain it. This is in our nature to compete each other, or to fight each other, to prove that we are better. So in a group we'll definitely have these situations, and if you're part of a large group, I will advise just stay calm and ride your own ride and don't try to imitate anyone. Con number 4 of riding in a big group is accommodation problems. It is one story to find a hotel for one person or 2-3 people, but it will be different if you're, for example, 8 or 10 bikes, especially in the middle of the season, especially when you travel to a big popular touristic destinations or locations, and it might be a big problem to find a room for everyone. So you can book a room in advance. For example, you can book it 2-3 days in advance, because you're a large group, it is better to book it in advance. But what about if you cannot go there on time? Again, because you're a big group and because of con number 1 that I told you, timing, you cannot get it on time. And then the rooms that you booked and probably paid in advance will just waste the money. And yeah, this is a problem, accommodation problems. And another problem is even in the restaurants. Once again, if you go to busy places, touristic areas, where you're gonna have like 10 or 12 people to sit and have dinner, this will be also a big problem. Not everywhere, but in many places. And con number 5 is logistic. So let's go again to the logistic. You might not agree, but some of the roads or some of the directions you might not like. So let's say you have a leader, and the leader decided that the best way to travel from France to Spain is to go on the highways. But you might be different. You might like to have a different roads, country roads, to stop here and there. But when you're in the group, you have to follow the group. You have to follow your leader, and that's it. End of the story. That's why I said the logistic is nice when someone organizes the roads for you, but it could be also not so nice when you don't like the roads that someone decided to pick. Or another example, he might decided to have the best roads, twisty roads and everything, but they might be too slow for your type of ridings, and it is always pros and cons. Let's say con number 6, you will definitely have a high cost. It will be more expensive if you ride in the group. And here you might disagree at the moment, but I'll try to convince you that it is exactly like that. It will cost you more because of everything that I just described in the previous 5 points. At the end, you will spend much more money if you're in the group, because you will travel slowly because of everyone. Then you're gonna have places that someone of the group like, or even if you agree everything, even if you have your leader, you decided, okay, we're gonna stop in this restaurant, but when you stop in this restaurant, you're so many people, you're gonna order so many different dishes, and people usually watch one from another. What you order? Oh, I have this meatballs with potatoes, I'm gonna have it as well. And then all of this will rise the prices, and because people usually imitate others, you're gonna spend much more money than if you travel alone. And this is definitely true. It's proven with many trips. Let's see now what will be the pros if you travel alone, and then we're gonna discuss the cons as well. But number 1 pro if you travel alone is that you're gonna have your riding style. You're gonna stop when you want. You're gonna ride when you want. If you want to go to the toilet, you're gonna go to the toilet. If you want to ride the whole day with 50 kilometers per hour, you can do it. If you want to stop once per 2 hours, you can do it. So you're the boss. You can control everything. If you decided that today, on this day, you're not going to stop to any restaurant because your budget will not allow you, then you can spend the whole day riding on 2 bananas, as I did it many times, or whatever you decide, but just you're the boss. And even if someone tell me just this as a only pro of riding alone, I'll be still happy to have it because of only one pro. The option to decide exactly what to do at every given moment. Number 2, it is easy to find a place to sleep. Definitely, when you travel alone, it is easy to find a place for one person, one bed. Even if the hotel is full, they will always find a place for one person. Also, when you travel alone, you could be invited in many people's houses because you're just alone. But if you're in a large group, even if you meet someone on the road, a nice person, or if you have friends in the area, if you're in the group, they will never invite you to go to their homes. But when you travel alone, you can have this opportunity. And I had it many times on many of my trips. And you can say now, yeah, Pavlin, but you have the YouTube channel, many people know you, they inviting you usually to go to visit their places. Yes, that is correct, but I have the channel from how many years? From how many years the channel is popular? From 3-4 years. But I traveled from 15 years and I've been invited to so many places, people that never even seen my face before. So it is like that. If you travel alone, it will be much better to find accommodation. It will be much cheaper to find accommodation, and you're gonna have many different options to sleep in many different people's houses. Pro number 3, you're gonna have easy choice. You can choose all the destinations, all the attractions, everything you want to see. It is your choice, you're the boss. So whatever it's on your road, you can decide what to see and what not. And you don't need to follow anyone. Because once again, if you travel in a large group, it's impossible to have the same opinion to everyone. So one person will like to see the museums, but the second person will like to go off-road. And how they're gonna work together if they are in the group? It's just impossible. One of the people need to make a compromise. And that's why if you travel alone, the choice is very easy because everything is on you. It will be much cheaper because you're the boss. I already partly told you that, but if you travel alone, you can decide when to stop or not stop at all, or how much to spend on food, on drinks, even on petrol. You can decide that, okay, now today I do not have the budget that I would like to have, so I can slow down a little bit. Instead of riding with 120 kilometers per hour, I can ride with 90 kilometers per hour. And this will save me until the end of the day probably around 5 liters of petrol. 5 liters of petrol will be something like 15 euros, and I can have a dinner for this amount of money because you're the boss. You control everything. And it is the same with hotels, hostels, and everything. When you're on a group and the whole group book a hotel that costs 50 euros per night, you have to pay it. It doesn't matter what you want. But when you decided that 50 euros is too much, you can find another hostel for 20 euros and spend the night over there, or even open your tent and spend the night for free. So definitely when you travel alone, it will be cheaper. And number 5 is communications. You don't need to talk with anyone. If you want to talk with someone, you can do it, but only when you want. So there are different type of people. Some people prefer to have people around them and to have this communication all the time and talk all the time. But not everyone is like this. But if you are part of from a large group, you have to communicate with people. It doesn't matter do you like it or not. And when you travel alone, you have the choice. If you want to talk with someone, you can always do it. Find someone on the streets, find someone in the local coffee, on the hotel, in the restaurant. But you don't have to talk if you don't want to talk. And believe it or not, but on the long trips, sometimes it's very powerful to communicate with people, especially when you've got such a long and fulfilled day and you want just to relax, but when you're apart from the group, you cannot. So definitely better communication. Let's see now what will be the cons if you travel alone. The first, and maybe the one that stops most of the people to travel alone, is that no help when you need it. It is definitely true that if you travel with someone and you need help on the road, it will be much better. But on the other hand, if you travel alone, it doesn't mean that you're completely alone. Everywhere around the world you can find help. And let me give you one example. 2 years ago, during my accident in Istanbul, Turkey, I was alone. I've got this accident. Okay, I was all right. Police came, organized everything, set the documents, and I start with the bike and continue my trip. But let's say, what will be if I was injured, if I cannot move, if the bike was damaged? How someone else could help me in this situation? Okay, maybe to hold my head, or maybe to give me the first aid on the place. But how exactly this person could help me with anything else? He cannot. He is not unless he's a doctor, but even he is a doctor, what he can do on the road? Nothing. So you might be part of a large group, but if you have an accident, what will happen more likely is that the group will stay with you until police and ambulance come, and then they will continue traveling and you will go to the hospital. Or if you have a broken down situation, if your bike breaks down and you have a technical problem, what the group will do? If unless someone of the group is a real mechanic and you have the parts to fix the motorcycle, what the rest of the group will do? What they will do if you blow your engine? If the engine is completely out and it cannot be fixed? Nothing. You will ship your motorcycle at home and the group will continue traveling. Do you believe that just because your motorcycle stopped, everyone will stop and wait with you holding your hand to fix your motorcycle? No, it is not going to work like that. So in a group or solo, you're always alone, and you have to be prepared to handle everything alone without any help. If you receive help, good, but if you did not, at least you'll be ready to continue doing your things alone. And that's why, number one, you don't have possibility to receive help when you're alone. It's not true, because it will be always someone on the road to help you. Even if you're alone, if you have an accident, the car behind you or the car in front of you or the cars from the side will see you. They will come and help you. They will ask, probably call police, call ambulance, and someone always will be there to help you, unless you're in some kind of completely remote area in the middle of wilderness and there is no one, and then you're completely alone, which is another topic which we're gonna discuss a little bit later. And I will not recommend to go on a remote areas completely alone, but it's a different story, as I said. So to the point of help, yes, it's a big con, and this is what stops many people to travel alone. But again, I will advise to reconsider this decision. So the second is loneliness. Some people feel really bad when they're left alone. If you're that type of person, it could be a disaster. I personally feel good when I'm alone. When I'm alone at home, when I travel alone, when I travel with my motorcycle or with car or just walk around, I feel good alone. But not everyone is like me. Some people feel really bad when they are left alone. This is true. They might have this deep depression and anything. And if you're one of these people, you definitely shouldn't travel alone. So you might have this feeling that you're left alone at the end of the world. But for me, this is fine. If you're this type of person, definitely find a friend or join a group and travel with someone. Con number 3 is security. So if you travel with a group, as I mentioned before, every time when you need to leave your motorcycle for 5 minutes, 15 minutes or an hour, you can have someone to look over it. But when you are alone, you have to be more creative. Otherwise, you might lose your motorcycle, or you might someone might take stuff from your motorcycle. So security is definitely a problem, but again, it is manageable. It is manageable. You have to be a little bit more creative and think in advance. For example, if I want to stop and go and ask for in the hotel for the hotel rooms, I will take my tank bag with me. I'll take the key of the motorcycle and the tank bag with me, because in the tank bag I usually keep the most expensive items like my cameras and stuff like that. Everything is in the tank bag, and I don't want to leave it just like that on the street and climb into the 5th or 6th floor to asking for rooms. Or I will make sure that I will park the motorcycle to the proper position, avoiding someone to take my bike, for example. So you just need to think more in advance, but it is definitely a con when you travel alone. Even a simple things, just to go to the toilet, it's a problem if you don't know where to leave your motorcycle. What I usually do, I do it on the petrol stations where always people around, and I usually park the motorcycle right in front of the door or in front of the cask where there is always person, and then go to the toilet. And I'm sure that no one will touch my motorcycle because it is just in front of the eyes of the staff of the petrol station. But this is just an example that I can give you, but definitely security is a problem. Con number 4 is personal safety. Alone, you're an easy target. That is true, but it is also true that if you behave like a victim, more likely someone will take something from you. You have to be more, how I have to say, you don't need to look like a victim. You have to be sure what are you talking, where you're walking, and you have to be more confident. If you look like a victim, yes, it is right, personal safety, it's a problem when you're alone. But when you know your stuff, you'll be all right. And number 5 is it is dangerous. I will not recommend you to go on a long motorcycle trip alone, especially if you have plans to go to an area with no people or off-road. As I said before, it's not a problem to ride on a long trip alone, but it is a problem if you decided to go on a completely remote area alone. I don't know, have you seen it or not, but I've got one video of on my channel about the situations that happens with me in North India, Ladakh. I was alone, I've got a flat tire and so on and so on. So I shouldn't go there alone, and I understand that mistake, but I did it anyway. But on some places around the world, it is better to be with someone, especially when you ride off-road. And when the area is not very popular, off-road usually is not popular. If you go to the bush somewhere with no telephone reception and anything, and if you're alone, even a simple drop of the bike might cause a serious injuries, like broken leg, for example. And if you're stuck under the bike, you might even die there just because you have no one with you to help you to lift the bike or ask for help or something like that. So there are some situations that you shouldn't go alone, but it is what it is. So now, after everything that I told you, a lot of pros and cons of each one of the sites, what will be the best option, to travel alone or in a group? Well, honestly, guys, I cannot give you this answer because, as I said, everyone is different. For me, the best way is to travel alone because, as I told you, I feel good alone. And now, because of my channel, it is even more necessary to travel alone, because now I film everything, which is mean that every day that I travel, I have to have some kind of plans in my head, how I'm gonna film this day, where I'm gonna stop at, what I'm gonna say. And if I travel in a group, this will be a problem, because the rest of the group, they don't want to stop every time when I stop, and wait every time when I need to film something. But your situation might be different, and a few things you have to have in your mind. Everything that I told you, it is already true. It is proven with many trips in many places around the world. But again, whatever you decided, it should be always, the decision always should be taken only from you, and you don't need to listen anyone. Even if you decided to travel with only one friend, make sure that you know this friend very well from a long time ago, and your motorcycles are, let's say, the same size and your budgets are the same, because otherwise the confrontations are impossible to avoid. So I don't know how to describe it better, but yeah, I know that I gave so much information, a little confused at this time. So if you have any questions, I will try to reply it. Tenere Traveler, I gave up trying to please everyone some years ago. I planned and lead tours for 10 years and someone always complained. Rude, hotel, restaurant, time without coffee. Yeah, absolutely. It is impossible to please anyone. It doesn't matter how good you are. The example I can give you now is my channel. I've got like 120,000 subscribers, and every time when I upload a video, I've got like one very small percent of people, probably around 0.1% of the people that are not happy with what I'm saying. And I'm not complaining, I'm just saying that it doesn't matter how good you are, there will be always someone that don't like you or don't think the same as you. And yes, as Richard said, you cannot please anyone. It's just impossible. That's why it's good to have some really deep thoughts if you plan to travel with a group. Another thing that I can tell you is that if it also depends on that how long the trip is going to be and what is the destination. If the trip is 2-3 days or a week, it is fine. But when the trip is very long and when destination is difficult, then everything is way more difficult. You have to actually like accumulate everything, and then big problem starts when you're tired, when nothing goes the way you planned, when you have technical problems, when you have medical problems or anything. All of the situations that I mentioned as a cons, they will be like on steroids because of everything what is happening around you. So it is difficult. It's definitely difficult to find the right people to travel. As you know, I travel with my friend Dima for, I don't know, 3-4 years, and we know each other before that, and we're good friends, but we don't travel anymore together because everyone now got a different opinion about the trip, and no one wants to do what another person wants. And it's always like that. That's why I finished riding alone. But yeah, for you might be different. So I have a few more things to tell you guys, but before that I would like to hear your opinion on this topic. And if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I will try to answer it. As I said, there is no one universal system or opinion that will work for everyone. I feel good alone, but many of my friends, they said, oh, alone, no way, I will never travel alone. Now on my future trip to Magadan, when I discussed with my Russian friends that I am alone, they said, well, this destination is not good to travel alone, especially after Yakutsk direction east. And I will agree with them. It is not good to be alone there because there are sections without any people for many kilometers. But I don't want to have someone just because of the company. And I said to them, if you know someone that will like to travel in this area, during the time that I'm there, we can meet each other, we can discuss something or eventually help each other. But I don't want to travel with someone just of the idea to have a company. Tenere Traveler, people will not approach group traveling alone, people just approach. Yeah, absolutely. If you travel alone, there will be always someone to approach you and ask you questions on the road. But when you're in a group, people will just go around you and that's it. When I travel alone, whatever I stop, coffee, restaurant, petrol station or whatever, it is always someone to ask me questions. Where are you from? Where are you going? How much the motorcycle cost? Especially when I was in Central Asia, every question was how much motorcycle cost and how much, what is the top speed of the motorcycle. And people are very curious, they always ask questions. But it is when you travel alone. When you're in a group, nothing like that. Joko Rocker. After my last trip, I have learned of the years I prefer traveling on my own. Can stop, stay when I want, sleep. Yeah, absolutely. I learned the same. For me, the best option is to travel alone. This is the way I relax on max. If I'm with someone, with a group, there is some kind of tension always between the group, between all of the schedules and everything. So I feel much better alone. But as I said, some people prefer to have help. If you plan some kind of jet roads or only off-road in difficult areas, you will definitely need someone, but I will say just one person. If you're free, it is already too much. If you're 4, 5 or more, then it's a real disaster. So if you decided to travel not alone, then at least travel with one person, someone that you know very well, someone with your skills, with your type of motorcycle, your budget, as I said before. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult to have a nice journey. It will be almost impossible. Joko Rocker. It can be something as simple as different road choice, back roads or main roads. Anything could be a problem when people are different. I can only speak about day trips. I traveled in a group only once and ended up riding by myself as the other wanted to ride too much above speed limits. Yeah, this is definitely something that you have to consider. That's why I said a few minutes ago that even if you travel in a group, you have to prepare everything like you travel alone. You should be able to leave the group and continue your trip alone at every moment, because shit just happens. Yes, you got to ride your ride for you, exactly. If you see that the group is too fast or too slow, or the group makes some dangerous activities or maneuvers or corners or even dangerous behavior, it is better just to split from the group and continue your journey. Tenerife travel. My pet hate is people not filling up with petrol together. Always one needs fuel. Yeah, it is another story. Yeah. If everyone stopped for filling the petrols, they should do it. But some people decided, no, I'm not gonna do it now. I'm gonna do it after 30 minutes or after 40 minutes, or when everyone stop, go to the toilet, eat something. We don't need to stop every 15 minutes because you want to pee, you want to eat. We are not in the kindergarten, but this is what is happening when people travel together in large groups. That's why I said it is very difficult to find the right group. But let me give you one example. When I went to Bangladesh in 2018, I was met by a local group, local guys, 6 people. So they organized a really nice plan, travel together with me, 6 people, so we were 7 people all together. But these guys were so organized and they were so thankful and so polite. They actually organized everything for me, and the journey went fine. I enjoyed the journey, even though there were some moments, not so many, but a few moments that I prefer to be alone. But because I was invited there, it was impossible to leave alone. But the journey was fine. Joko Rocker, that's a question. Do you fill up in the morning or before you get to a hotel campsite that night? I always prefer to fill the tank before I go to the hotel. When I finish the day, before I stop riding, I will try to find a petrol station, fill the petrol, and to be ready for the next morning. So next morning I'm not gonna waste time. I will start immediately. Yeah, exactly what I do. I always try to fill the tank when I finish the day. Fill the tank, spray the chain, put everything ready for the next day. So the next day, next morning, I can only start and go. I don't want to waste any time. But it is happened also many times when I'm not able to find a petrol station, or I finish the day, or I'm so tired that I completely forgot about the petrol, to go immediately and find a place to sleep. And the next morning I'm looking for petrol station, and usually there were none, and I'm wasting time. That's why it's always good to do everything before you finish the ride. And this is fill the petrol tank, spray the chain, prepare everything for the next day. For me, that does mean also plug to charge all the cameras, all the batteries, all the telephones, GPS, everything that you have. All of this need to be prepared, and then I can go to bed. Because if you are not organized, you cannot complete anything. And it's again, everything is part of the plan, as I discussed in the many of the previous streams, that the plan is very important to have. Once again, if you plan to make a really long trip, a month, 2 or more, maybe a year, then my advice, go alone. If the journey is 2-3 days, weekend ride, week or even 2 weeks, then you can risk to be part of a group. But even if you risk to be part of the group, make sure that you have everything what is necessary to have to complete alone, which is mean that you have your routes, you have your plans, you have enough money, you have enough confidence, you have enough spare parts, or everything you need to complete the journey alone. So when you don't have this pressure, when you don't have to travel with the group, it is much easier. Because if one of the days is not good, you can say to yourself, okay, today was not really good, I'll see how it's tomorrow. If I don't like these guys, I will continue alone. And when you have like a spare plan, the things always goes much easier. When you don't have a spare parts, you can stuck in this and you have to hold everything, and doesn't matter how good or bad it is. Forrest, what is your opinion on traveling with a passenger? Well, my opinion, I'll tell you my opinion, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. In my opinion, motorcycle traveling is something more personal, and I am a little bit more egoistic on this side. I don't want to take a responsibility for another person behind me, and also the second person, the passenger, somehow kills my experience, because this is me. But for you might be different. If you travel with your wife, for example, if she enjoyed the trips, if you have the proper motorcycle to travel with her, why not? But then if you travel with passenger in the group, it is, you have again to add everything in the equation, because first you need to like the group, everyone in the group, then it's your passenger. So all the possible confrontations and cons that you might have with the groups will be the same with your passengers. So it is definitely something to consider. But yeah, if you like to travel with passenger, travel with passenger. Second question. In the back or in the sidecar? No. I will definitely, if I have a passenger, I will have it on the back. Sidecar is something that first is difficult to ride it, then it's completely different journey. You can have it if you like it, but it is definitely not for me. Tenerife travel. My lady often comes with me. There are some advantages, and we'll share the experience together. We travel well together. Absolutely. If you have the right passenger that share your passion to traveling, and you know each other very well from many years, this is probably the best option. So I can tell you that if I want to travel with someone with passengers, so better is to be my wife, because at least we know each other very well. And if she behave well like a passenger, which is mean that to stay like a potato mesh on the rear side, why not? It is just not for me. I prefer to be alone, to have my own experience. If I want to go somewhere with my wife, for example, I prefer to go with the car and have a different experience. Anytime, Forrest, anytime. It is just not for everyone to travel with passenger or with sidecar, even completely different story. It's like to travel with a car. Exactly. Even the name is like this, sidecar. Remy, I don't like how the bike behave with passenger. I even removed the back seat. Yeah, absolutely. The bike behave absolutely different, and as I said before, it's a huge responsibility. So every time when you twist, you have to know that you have a passenger behind you, which is mean that the bike cannot and will not react the same as you are alone. And you have this responsibility not only for yourself and for passenger as well. So if you're alone, you can risk to twist somewhere a little bit more, but when you have a passenger, it's different story, especially when your passenger is your wife and you have kids. Then every mistake could be fatal and finish really, it could be a real tragedy. Yeah, guys, thank you very much for encouragement. On some topics, there is not so much to say, and especially on this, because I am somehow biased in this, because I prefer to travel alone. But yeah, thank you very much, Graham. Joe Roger, I had a lot of questions, but forget them. Must write them down in the next topic. Yeah, absolutely. We have a word in Bulgaria saying that clever people always make notes, and stupid people always try to remember everything. That's why here on the left side, I have all of the notes that I plan to tell you on this stream, because otherwise you're gonna just forget the most important things. Even today, when I make my videos, I have scripts. I have scripts for everything. I don't read exactly the scripts, but I always got a script. For example, on today I filmed a video about heated grips that will be online tomorrow evening, and I have everything on scripts. Even though I know everything, I know what I want to say, but when you start talking on camera, you usually forgetting the very simple things. And when you have scripts, you can organize it. It is the same with the questions. If you have any other questions, make a notes, and on the next stream, which will be next Sunday, feel free to ask me whatever you want. And I still don't know what will be the topic for next Sunday, but if you have any ideas, you can tell me now, and I'll make sure that I'll be ready to talk on it. As I said, guys, I feel so good alone that the last time when I was traveling in a group was in 2000, and not in the group, in 2000, I was with another person in 2017. So from 2017, already 5 years I travel alone, and I don't think that I will ever go back to the group riding or travel with someone. No. In 2016, I went to Morocco with 4 people. We were 4 people all together, and I can tell you 4 people is just too much. It's not that they're bad people, or we did not have any problems between, no frictions, nothing, but it is just different type of journey. When I travel alone, when I start, I'm going to this riding mode. I have my goals, I have my stream is going, I have my plans, my points, and I'm completely disconnected from the real world around me, if you understand what I mean. But when you travel with someone, it's different story. You have to stop talking, discussing everything, and somehow it destroys my pleasure. But it's me. Many people are different, and you might be different, and I absolutely understand this. Yeah, I'm focused. Yeah, I'm focused exactly on what I have to do, and every day it's like a mini mission that I have to complete. Remy, I have traveled alone for 25 years, and all you say it makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. I'm traveling from how many years? Probably from the same, about 25 years. I'm traveling with a motorcycle from 15 years. But the last 5 years I travel alone, and I feel much better. Before that, it was always with someone. And it took me a while to come to this decision. That's why I'm telling you all of this, guys, because it will be much better for you if you just try it. You don't need to travel alone always, but if you make one trip alone, I don't think that you're gonna go to the group riding again. Graham, I found even on my normal rides by myself, when I stop for coffee, someone will usually like to talk to you. Many people will like to be motorcycle riders. Yeah, absolutely. As I said, every time when I stop, someone come and talks with me. Where are you from? Where are you going? What kind of motorcycle it is? Oh, this is interesting. Let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I went to Sofia. Sofia is the capital of Bulgaria, which is 450 kilometers away from my hometown. And I stopped on one of the traffic lights over there, and next to me stopped another motorcycle, sport bike, a local guy. And he looked on me, look again, it was summertime. I was with all of riding gear, jacket, pants, boots, gloves, helmet, everything. And the guy was with flip-flops, shorts and t-shirt and only helmet. And look on me, and then he moved a few meters back, checked my number, and he said, "Man, are you coming from Varna with the bike?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Oh, you're a very brave man." And he disappeared. And Varna is only on 450 kilometers. And I said to myself, if I said to this person to how many places I've been, he will probably think that I'm crazy. But again, it is an example that when you are alone, people always start to talk with you. Joke Rocker, have to admit, last year was the best group. 16 days to Arctic Circle. We had all the info and hotels, ferry and route. We were encouraged to go off and on. Yeah, sometimes it's happening. Even in the group ridings, as I said, it could be a great fun and you can have a great experience. But if you really plan a long trip, especially in some not so popular destinations, my advice will be always try to do it alone. Graham, I have had good experience with riding with one other person, but prefer to be alone. Yeah, if you don't feel good alone, if you're afraid to travel alone, do it with one friend, maximum two, but in large group, no. Joko Rocker, but still prefer riding on my own. Yeah, the same to me. I don't mind to ride day rides. For example, I spend the day today riding with a friend around my hometown. Fantastic, I enjoy it, but it is just one day. I can do it one weekend, go there, spend the night, drink something, eat something, on the next day come back. This is also fine. But when you have many days, one after another, nah, different story. Very, very different story. So, yeah. There are moments and moments, and you have to find the right balance, what is the best for you, and use it in your favor, because at the end, the trips are for you. They are not for someone else, they are for you. Or the trips are for me now, my pleasure, my way to relax, my way to see the things, my way to complete my goals. Why should I share this with someone else? I don't know. Also, depends on the destinations, the places that I would like to go. Now I would like to go to Magadan, and with 99% of the people that know my plans, they said, "What you gonna do there? There's nothing there." And I said, "Yeah, there is nothing there. I know that very well. I've been to Russia many times. I know what I'm gonna meet there. I know the straight roads. I know the boring roads. I know everything. But even so, I want to go there because it's in my list. I want just to complete this task. I just want to go there to see everything that I planned and come back. And what I'm gonna do the year after that, I don't know. But even if I want to go now with someone, I cannot find the right person to go, because people are usually busy, they work, they do not have enough time, or do not have enough money, or do not have enough courage, or their wife don't let them to go, or many other obstacles. Even if I want to find a riding friend now, I cannot. But I don't even want, because of everything that I told you. It's very different. If you have any other questions, even on different topics, let me know. I'll try to answer it. And once again, if you have any preferences about the live stream next Sunday, please let me know. I'll try to organize it for you guys. My second channel, Motorcycle Adventures Life, got already, let me see, 348 subscribers. Good. And I've got 6 live streams already uploaded, and they've got some good views, considering that the live streams are very long. Alright guys, I'm gonna give you a few more minutes and then I'm gonna end the stream here, if you don't have any questions. Once again, I apologize for the way the stream went today. It's not what I planned, but anyway, maybe on different topics I'll have more things to say. No, Graham, I'm not tough. I just know, Forest Patron, I just know that on some topics there are so many things to be said. On another, like solo in the group, there are not so many. But anyway, I hope that the information that I gave you at least will point you some direction that you have to think and maybe to do some experiments. The best way will be to make some experiments, of course. Travel with one person, travel with 2 people, travel short trips, 1 week trip, see how it's going, and then you can decide. Alright guys, last chance. Any more questions, any more suggestions about the live stream for the next Sunday? If you do not have, it's going to be my choice. You trust my choice. Alright, my choice is going to be always better, because when I find the topic, that means I know that this topic is going to be interesting and I am able to talk on it. Alright guys, thank you very much. Enjoyed your company. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the best. See you next week. The topic of the stream is going to be my choice. Take care. Ciao.